Welcome to my first ever live video on YouTube. I have been meaning to do this for a while. This video, I don't want it to be really long. I want to answer most of your frequently asked questions about life in Italy. My name is Hilda Gloria. If you are here for the first time, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you hit the red subscribe button down below so that you are notified every time I post a new video. I don't know how this works, but I'm going to just ask a question and then give an answer. I have written down all these questions in a book, questions you've been sending to my inbox, to my email, and some questions that you've been leaving on the videos and on a sticker that I left on the community page. Without wasting time, I'm going to save this video. So if you want to watch it afterwards, feel free to go ahead. And if you have further questions, leave them down below in the comments and I'll be happy to either do another one if there are very many or answer them in the comments. Okay. First question, what is the current proof of funds for Italian student visa? Now, when I was applying to study in Italy, that was 2013. That's when I came to Italy. It was £6,000. That was the proof of funds, and it had to be on your bank account, on the student's bank account. Most of you ask me, if I don't have a job, I didn't have a job either at the time, and my family or my parents basically just lent me the money. They put it on my bank account, and when I got here and applied for my permit of stay, I sent the money back. So I didn't have £6,000 euros in my account, but I borrowed it from my family and then gave it back. So I think you can do the same if you don't have the money in your account. They will not let you have let's say somebody who guarantees that this money is yours, because they want you to have it when you arrive, as it is considered as money that you should have as upkeep for the whole year that you're able to basically live in Italy. Currently, to answer the question, currently it is 7,200 euros because of inflation, because the prices of things have gone significantly high, and I think it's a good increment, as this amount is for the whole year. As everything in Italy has almost doubled. The prices have almost doubled in the past 2 or 3 years. Inflation is so bad right now, but yeah, that is the amount. That is the amount. It's 7,200 and I think 18 or 50 euros. Go ahead and check it out on the embassy website or ask your university. They will give you the exact amount, but it's 7,200 and something. Question number 2. Where are the questions? Okay. What universities would you recommend? I went to the Catholic University in Milan. It is a very good university, has got English departments and has got almost all the programs in both Italian and English. So I would highly recommend that. It's called Università Cattolica del Sacro Cuore. In English, it's the Catholic University of Milan. You just Google it and it will come. It has both English and Italian versions. The student consultation office is very flexible, speaks I think 3 or 4 languages. They speak English, they speak Italian, they speak French, and I think one of the Eastern European languages, which is I think Russian or something else. Amazing service. It was great. I would recommend it. I would recommend Bocconi for international students. Also reason because of English. There's so many other universities, but most of them you might have to come and study in Italian. If you're okay, to come and do that, there's the University of Milan, lots of universities called Statale, Politecnico University of Milan, University of Torino, University of Rome. Depending on what your interests are, what programs you want to pursue. If you want to do very scientific courses, some of the universities don't have them, so you have to be on the lookout on the program's catalog to make sure that your program is on the list, basically. So yeah, I would go ahead and check out on Google. First of all, look for the region where I want to go. I wanted to come to Milan because I love fashion and I wanted to study in the city of fashion and pursue fashion as well. So I looked at Milan, looked at the universities in Milan, looked at the universities that have got programs in English, and I applied to those. The other thing I would like to say is that do not limit your applications. I sent applications to about 20 universities and about 5 got back to me. So just go ahead and apply to as many universities as possible and make sure you have got like a big sample space for possible, let's say, program offers. Number three, question number three. I have about 16 questions, so I want to be as brief as possible and straight to the point. Which part of Milan can a newcomer go to live for a less expensive life? Now, from my experience, I've only lived in Milan, Italy for the past 9.5 years, almost 10 years. So I would highly recommend Milan. It's a metropolitan city, strategic location. You can easily travel from Milan to the rest of European capitals in just hours. You can fly to Paris in an hour and a half. You can go by train and it's about 6 hours. You can go to Geneva, you can go to London. Everything is maximum 2.5 hours from Milan, which is great. And the capital, Rome, is 4 hours by train and about an hour by flight. So you can easily, travel from Milan if you want. And Milan is a metropolitan city, so if you're an international student and you are looking, let's say, for a job, it's very easy. Also, after university, it is, I would say, the financial capital of Milan. This is where most money comes from in the country, so everything is concentrated here. Lots of good quality jobs, quality contracts, and all that. So if you're looking to stay beyond your school, I would highly recommend Milan. But if you just want to come and do your degree or your program and leave right after, I would say go to Rome, very touristic, also metropolitan. You can go to Torino, I think it's the second, third highly financial capitals of Italy. The other is Milan, Venice, and Torino, yes, and then afterwards Rome. So you can go to any of those metropolitan cities, and a place where you are going to evolve right after. There's opportunities for internships. Milan is very diverse. It has got a diverse population, so if you're looking for like a small community to blend with or to even make friends with, to find your way out, like to go to drinks with, I would highly recommend a metropolitan city. Also, transportation is great in Milan. It's easy to get around. Basically, I would recommend Milan as number one, and you can check out Turin, you can check out Venice, you can check out Rome as well. But also, don't be shy to look at other cities, especially if you're not looking to stay and work in Italy right after school. You can go to, I have friends that are studying in Puglia. The universities there are not very competitive. So the advantage is that you can easily get a place at a full scholarship and actually have a monthly stipend with those universities, the University of Trento, which is also very good, and I have friends there. So yes, it's a balance. Think about it. Think about what you want, what you prefer, what your long-term goals are, and choose a city. If you're coming to work, if you're coming to live, of course, the advantages I've mentioned about Milan, you can think about those, and metropolitan cities basically share the same. So I think about it. I preferred Milan because it's very diverse. I'm happy to live in a city where there are other people of color, there are other foreigners, there are foreign, let's say, organizations or small expat groups that I can relate to, even though given that I'm so far away from home and everybody in my family is back home. So I need, a relatability kind of, that is why I chose Milan. And like I mentioned, for fashion. Yeah. Question number 4. Have you been to Macerata? How is it? The answer is absolutely not. I just Googled it. I saw that it's a beautiful city near the seaside. I have not been. I would love to visit, but unfortunately I don't have any info about it. I know it has got a small population of less than 10,000 people. That is all. I got that from Google, so I don't know, unfortunately. I can't answer that. Question number 5 is, which field is easier to find a job? What is the rate of unemployment in Italy? Okay, the rate of unemployment is from statistics, of course, from Google. It's 10%. This is what they say. I would say it is higher, but there has been a little bit of a boom after the Panini 2 years ago or 3 years ago. There has been a boom in the employment industry. There's been so many startups that have started. So many companies have come back to Italy to open up and continue with business. So there is a boom for jobs. There's actually more job postings and openings coming up if you're looking at job boards, and if you're looking at, let's say, company websites at the moment as compared to 2 or 3 years ago. Which fields? I would say it depends on what you want. I live in Milan, and I'm pursuing fashion and something else that I'm really not going to talk about. But yeah, it is an industry that I would say is I would say overrated. When you're outside Italy, you think, oh, when I go to Italy and, you know, get a job in the fashion industry, my life will be complete. The reality is there is lots of freebies in this industry. You are going to be made to work for free for the most part of your beginning career. And if you don't have enough funds to sponsor or support yourself, that might be something difficult. Or if you don't have another job to supplement your income, that might be a little bit hard. That is the honest truth about working in fashion. But once you get there and you start to climb the levels, the money is good. Another industry that I see there is a lot of service, let's say people in the service industry demand kind of, if you want to work in an office, if you're okay to work in an office, absolutely. There's so many administrative jobs on job boards right now. I can't even speak. So go ahead, check them out. I would say don't be so limited while coming to Italy, because you might be a medical doctor where you are and you want to migrate to Italy, and you're not going to be a medical doctor the minute you step here, because you have got to convert your documents. You have got to get the Dichiarazione di Valore, the declaration of value. I have a video on that. Go check it out. I'll link it down below. You have got to do some courses. You have got to do the language, guys, the language. Everything operates in Italian. You have got to do the language if you want to work in highly specialistic fields like medicine, like engineering. Everything is, they will say that the job is in English, but once you get there, technically and practically, you will have to experience a lot of Italian. So it's best if you maybe have prior training on Italian, on the Italian language, to learn the language. And I would say just come with an open mind and know what you want. It's very easy to get diverted. Look for what you want, and if it's not in Italy, leave. Do not stay in Italy if you don't get what you want. Like, this is an advice I'm giving you, your big sis. Yes, you can come and study whatever, and then you don't get the job in that, but once you feel it in your mind, in your gut, that it is time to leave, sis, brother, pack your things, set yourself up, look for another job, and kindly wave goodbye to the beautiful Italian territory. Okay, next question is, let's see, question number 6, living costs in Rome. I have a video about updated costs of living in Milan, Italy, and Rome is a metropolitan city, so I believe the cost of living is not very, very different. I'd highly recommend that you go and check it out. I shared my costs, giving the basic needs and a little bit of other needs or other ones that make me comfortable, that I shared in the video, and it was, I think, grossing or netting more than €1,000 per month. So the cost of living for an individual is that. Costs are, you know, cut if you share. For example, if you have a partner or if you have a sibling, costs are cut usually. For example, you can share a house or a room, and then that is cut into half. You can share lots of other things if you are in a shared kind of space. So I would recommend that you go ahead and check it out. I have an updated cost of living for this year, 2023, and I have one for 2022, comparing prices now and then. So just go ahead and check that out. And I would say cost of living depends on one's lifestyle. For example, in my miscellaneous, I have about €450 or €350, and that's not enough money for my miscellaneous or my luxury or my happy days, because I would like to go out on a nice dinner with my friends, and when I go out on a dinner, it's usually not less than €150, taxes included. My outfit, I want to look good, I want to go to a nice restaurant. So it all depends on that. If you're willing to let go of some of those things, the budget might be lower, or if you want to exaggerate a little bit more, it might even be higher, depending on your lifestyle, depending on what you prefer. I prefer to live a bit far away from the city center, and I pay a little bit less when it comes to rent, whereas people that live very close to the city center pay more. So it's a balance and depends on what life choices you make. Okay, I'm trying to be as brief as a mini skirt. Let's see. My question number 7, can I bring my family with me on a study visa? Will my spouse have an open work permit? Very good question, very valid question. I am preparing a video about bringing family members, but I'm waiting for a confirmation from, a partner. I would like to hint on this. If you are a student, your visa is a bit limited. It is limited to just you studying. It also limits on what you can do in the country. It limits the amount of hours. You're only limited to 20 hours a week with your study permit. So I don't think it permits a spouse, it permits a family member. But once you start to work, this is how I found out. Once you start to work, my lawyer told me that you can bring a family member. For example, if you are the only person that's taking care of, let's say, your mom or your dad, one of your parents, and they're over 60 years, you can bring them and they can stay with you if, of course, you can manage or you can afford to live with them. There is a list of requirements. I'm going to save that for the video that is to come with a specialist or with this very informed person. Make sure you look out for it. If you're not subscribed, make sure you hit the red subscribe button below so that you don't miss it. The other question was, can my spouse get an open work permit? I would say that once the person is in the territory, if you bring your spouse or your parents, your family, if they are here, they can do whatever they want as long as they have the legal document to do it. And if the legal document permits them. Some of the people that I know, for example, my best friend has got her mom, but she is 60 years. If you're 60 years, you can't start a job here in Italy. It's late, really, it's almost retirement. So yeah, but if you bring somebody that is, let's say, in their 50s, like my mom is in her 50s, and I'm planning to bring her here for medical reasons, and so that she is under very good care and control, which is free. If my mom wants to work, she can work because she's still really young. Yeah. So I hope that kind of answered, but I want to save this question for when the specialist comes. So I hope you can be very patient. Yeah. Okay. Question number 8. Does one need Italian to work in the Italian school, canteen, library? I know where this question is from. This question is from my video about student jobs in Italy. Very valid question. You have a very valid inquiry and urge to know and curiosity. Yes, you need some Italian to work in a school canteen. When I was in school, my friends used to work in the school library and the school canteen, but you do not need very technical, hard Italian, formal kind of office, law tribunal kind of Italian. Basically, I actually also volunteered in the school canteen, I think for 2 days, and I didn't speak in Italian, but I mean, I went to a school that was, it's a private school, first of all, so majority of the students do understand at least one international language, that's English, French, or whatever other language there is. So it was very easy to find somebody to translate for me or for me to find my way out. Also, I look at that as an opportunity to learn the language. This is how I learned Italian. I shared it in one of the videos I think, about learning Italian. I was very shy, not very shy, but it didn't click for me to start speaking Italian. If you are an English speaker, you know this is a big problem that we face. Because English is widely spoken, we don't find ourselves in a situation where we have to learn a new language. Usually it's the other people that adapt to speaking English. So when I got here in Italy and I needed to start to work, all the companies needed me to speak Italian. So I just wrote on my CV that I can't speak Italian. So they called me up for an interview and they asked me what language I'm comfortable with. God was on my side and I said English. So the interview went very well in English and I was offered the job. So I got the job and it's 10% English and 90% Italian. I was forced to start to speak. I had been here for a year and a half, I think, but I wasn't very confident. I would speak the basics, grazie, ciao, come stai? Yes, hello, how are you? Thank you. But I wasn't very confident to express myself, even though I knew the language, even though I knew what I could understand when people spoke. But that triggered, I would say, turned on the switch for me to actually get confident and start speaking in Italian. So look at that as an advantage, look at it on the positive side that you're going to learn another language. I mean, it doesn't hurt to learn another language. Also, learning Italian will help you, you know, maneuver so many things. There's a lot of paperwork to be done, and if you speak Italian, you're on a good advantage or better advantage than if you don't know the language. There's a lot of Italian to use, that needs to be used in the country, so consider that as an advantage. It doesn't take anything away from me learning a language, so I would recommend you take it as an advantage to learn a new language. All right, question number 9. Oh, we're going really quickly. How long does it take to wait for a visa? Now, this question is a bit, I'm going to answer it in 2 ways. I'm thinking that you mean the visa, the entry visa, or the permit of stay once you get here. So I'm going to answer it, you know, 2 ways so that you can easily get one of them if one of them was a question. To get my visa, I'm going to talk about my experience, even though I shared it in a video that I'm going to link down in the description box below. It took me about 3 months to get my visa, whereas it took my other friends 2 weeks. Another friend, it took 2 days. Another friend, it took a month. So I think everyone's situation is different. Once you have all the requirements nailed and provided, I think it would be really quick and fast. I struggled because I applied and I was a resident in Egypt and I wasn't born in Egypt. So I had to kind of like bring documents from 2 different countries and have like a balance and have like a blend. When I went to the embassy in Uganda, they couldn't do it because I had to do it with the consulate in Egypt, because my declaration of value was supposed to be signed by the Egyptian government and certified by that. It was a little bit complicated for me because I didn't study from my home country, but if you're studying in your home country, I think it should be easier. So I would say that it depends. It really depends. But usually they say it's a month on their website. I don't believe them. It's different for everybody. So yeah, make sure you have all the requirements and ask questions, guys. I would like you to ask the professionals, ask the people at the embassy, ask the people at the consulate. They're very helpful. They have somebody in charge of education. If you have any questions about universities, if you want to apply to a university, just go to the Italian embassy and say, I want to speak to somebody in charge of education. They're going to put you in the right direction. They're going to guide you what documents you need, when you need them. They'll guide you on the right application window. If there are any scholarships, they're going to tell you. It's really helpful if you ask the professionals, let me say. The other part is the permit. I have a video about getting a student permit because that's what I first got, and I have one about converting the student permit into a work permit, which I'm going to link down below that you guys can go and rewatch or watch. I have another one for getting a permanent residency permit, so I'm not going to go over those because I already have the videos, but briefly I would say that it used to take me about 3 weeks to get my student permits if I had all the documents. Again, you must have all the documents. Even though they ask for 1 million documents, you must have all of them, and once they're ready, literally 3 weeks, 2 weeks sometimes, and maximum I've waited for is I think 2 months for my permanent residency permit. All right, going on to the next question. I have graduated in Italy and I look forward to do a master's degree in Italy. Do I need a declaration of value? Okay, so a declaration of value is basically a document that equates your transcript into the Italian system to make sure that it is onto the Italian standard. Basic as that. I don't know why this term seems very complicated for everybody, even me when I was applying. I thought it was something very difficult. It took me a long time to get it. But guys, if you study in Italy and it's an Italian university, you don't need to convert anything because it is the Italian system. The reason why you need a declaration of value is because if you're an international student and you have studied abroad, they cannot equate your grades. They don't know how to read. They don't have a system to read your grades and understand them. And this document is the one that actually helps. You get it from the Italian consulate in the country where you graduated from. You first of all go to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, have your degree, diploma certified, and then you can get this document. I have a whole video that I will link down below about getting a declaration of value, its use, what it's called, where to get it, the documents you need to get it. All right, next question. Are there jobs for international students? Absolutely. I have worked all my life in Italy. The minute I arrived, I started looking for jobs. There are jobs, but you're not going to get your professional job as a student because you won't be permitted. Your permit of stay only permits you working 20 hours a week, which is like 4 hours per day. So no company is going to hire you unless you get like a part-time job. If you're very lucky, no company is going to hire you to work only 20 hours a week. Usually companies need somebody to work full-time, and that is like at minimum 8 hours a day, and that's 40 hours per week. So I have a video about student jobs in Italy, and I broke it down from student when I was, studying, examples of jobs that I did, like babysitting, working in school canteens, working in the library, and lots of other jobs that actually normal people still do. I realized that after graduating that, oh, I can actually do these jobs as I look for my professional jobs. So absolutely, yes, there are jobs. Don't be discouraged that Italy doesn't have any jobs. Yes, there are jobs, and people are working and people are doing them. You just have to look and be a little bit more patient. It takes a bit of time. There's a high rate of unemployment even for Italian students themselves and Italian people themselves. So don't think that because you're a foreigner, you might be lucky to quickly land a job, but it's not very automatic. You have to look for it. Okay. Next question, which is question number 12. How can I get the ISE or low income certificate so that I can apply for a scholarship? Okay, I think I mentioned this in one of my videos. I don't remember which one exactly. But there is if you are already in Italy, or the certificate of low income, if you already, I believe the person that asked this is an international student who wants to get a scholarship. If you are in Italy, the ISE is a certificate that shows your annual income or annual earnings if you are working, if you're independent. If you are dependent on your family, it shows the annual income of the head of family, the person that you depend on, if it's your father, your mother, not them combined, the one person that you identify. So for it to be low and for you to qualify for some scholarships for some universities, they give a figure. That is why I'm not going to say the figure, because when I was studying, I remember my friends that were on this scholarship of like having like low income families or coming from low income families. It varied for each one of them because every family has got a different figure. Every country has got a different, I would say, minimum wage, minimum amount of money that they pay as salary to people. So I would say that absolutely no figure is right and no figure is wrong. Speak and liaise to your university. Lots of them are able to negotiate, as this is how Italian students pay tuition. From nursery to university, it depends on how much money your household makes, basically. So liaise with them, speak to them, and ask them, what to do. Let's see if I've answered the question right. How can I get it? If you are abroad, you need to go to the, I think, Ministry of Statistics. Yeah, that is where my friend who is Ugandan, that's where he got it from. Otherwise, you got the Bureau of Statistics, not the Ministry of Statistics, the Bureau of Statistics, because that has got the income levels of everybody. Other countries, I do not know. I cannot relate. I didn't ever get the certificate, but I know it does exist and I have information about it because a friend of mine got a scholarship this way. If you are in Italy, just go to a CAF near you. They're going to print it out. If you're lucky, for example, my company sends us our annual income certificate every February and I think every July. So it is there. It is readily available in your payslip bank usually, if you live in Italy. Right, next question is, which universities will admit me for masters without an IELTS exam? That's very interesting. It's a very interesting question that somebody wants to dodge such an easy exam. Anyway, as long as it's paid, it's not a free exam. Now, IELTS or TOEFL is an exam that proves your level of English language. Usually it's asked for people that are coming from countries that don't speak English as a first language or as an official language. Now, luckily, all my education has been in English and had been in English by the time I was applying for a master's degree. So that was proof enough. I had studied all my life in English, and Uganda is an Anglophone country. The official language is English, and I did my bachelor's degree in English, so I was okay. So I would say it depends on the candidate. It doesn't depend on the university. It depends on the candidate, because if you're applying to study in English, you have got to prove that you're able to do the course in English. Even though Italian, you have got to prove that you can do the course in Italian if you're not Italian mother tongue, or if you're not born and raised in Italian, or if you've not done any exams in Italian to show. You have got to do an exam to show this. Unfortunately, there's no university where you can do that. I know it's an additional cost, and it's about $250. It's expensive. It's just an English test. But yeah, I would say if you can prove that you're able to, you understand English to like a mother tongue level, that's okay. That should be okay. Yeah, speak to your university. When people come to me and ask me, oh, I don't know what to do, I don't know how to do this, speak to your university. Like, the customer care that I received at my university in Italy, I had never received anywhere else in my school. Like, there is literally a tutor assigned to every student during the application process. How cool is that? Like, somebody to guide you through the entire process of you applying, pre-enrollment, enrollment, travel to Italy. There is somebody that drew the map for me from the airport, which is Malpensa, to the school, to what I needed to do. If I needed, let's say, to buy a marca da bollo, which is a stamp to get my documents, there was a direction and a map, like from the school and from my place of residence. Amazing. So speak to your universities, and you're going to find them very helpful. They have done this over and over, so they have got them in their systems. Sometimes it's already on the student portal. Once you apply and you're accepted, they create a student account for you that has all this information. For example, my school shared like a guide, let's say international students arrival in Milan guide, learning Italian guide, where to have fun on the weekends guide, student jobs available at the university guide. So it's all the information is there. You just have to ask for it or where to find it, and it's very readily available. Look for it, please, or ask. Keep asking. Don't give up on asking. They are not tired of you. This is their job to like answer your questions. Yeah. Okay, next question. We're almost there. Next question is question 13. How did they count your 5 years residence for permanent residence? This is a very interesting question, and it's a very common one that you guys ask me usually in my email. What is written on the website and what is official is that there should be 5 legal years of you living in Italy, but that is not it. That's not the only requirement. I had lived in Italy for 5 years, but I had not worked enough for me to get the permanent residency, if you know what I mean. My annual income for the 2 years that I had worked was less than the bare minimum, so I couldn't get the permit that year. I had to wait for another year for me to have like my income up there to be able to get my annual income in the system. So I would say that the number of years are 5 legal years. You should have a legal permit for 5 years for you to get the permanent residency permit. I have a video about that with all the details, the time frame, how to fill it in, where to get it, my process, my story, how long it took me. I'm not going to go into the details of that. I'm going to just link it for you down in the description box below. But yeah, go ahead and check it out. It is 5 legal years of you living in Italy. If you have lived a year where you didn't have a permit, I'm sorry, you have to live another one. Yeah. So basically, it's 5 years of you having a permit of stay. But also you have to consider the other factors. So the number of years might affect or might not affect, but one of the other factors might affect, like how much you pay. For example, in my case, it was the income and how much I had paid that delayed everything. I had paid, I think, 50 euros, and the price had increased in that period. Things change. The constitution in Italy changed, and things change constantly. So you have to be updated and on the lookout and asking and finding information. Okay, next question, which is question number 15. Do you do consultations? I'd like to consult you privately. Lots of you have asked me about this, but this year I don't have the time as I am very busy with my personal life, business, job, and I am studying at the same time. So I don't have the time to commit to that. But it is something that I have been thinking about and I have been looking into doing. So I will maybe say next year I will come back to this. This is not a promise, this is not a guarantee. I will come back to this next year and revisit the idea and see, of course, possibility of return on investment, is it worth it and all that, and see if I can help you guys like on a personal and more committed basis. But I can't promise anything right now. This is something I'd like to venture into because I like helping people. Like, I just love to. When I was coming to Italy, I searched the whole internet and there was no information like this. So you guys are so blessed to have it free from my channel. So I don't even know why you're not even subscribing and sharing this information with your people, your friends. There was no information, there was that gap, and I have seen it, I have noticed it in the past 9.5 years that I've lived here. But of course the service will not be free, and it will be paid, and it will be limited slots. So look out, subscribe for updates on that. I'm not promising anything this year as I don't have the bandwidth to live a life and add another business right now. Okay, question number 16, which is the second last question. How long did it take you to get a job and learn Italian? Very interesting question, but I have hinted on these in my previous videos and earlier on in this video. How long did it take me to get a job? 6 months. I graduated in on February 26, 2016. I remember that day. I was ill in hospital and an ambulance took me to the graduation hall and I defended my thesis. I'll never forget that day. It's a very special day. I'll never forget. 26th February 2016 is when I graduated, and I started working in September of the same year. Like a job with a contract and everything, yeah. But of course I was doing my other student jobs. I was still continuing with them, yes. It took me 6 months to start working. How long did it take me to learn Italian? I would say I'm very quick at learning Italian because I grew up speaking 2 languages, luckily. So naturally for any person that grows up speaking more than 1 language, it's very easy to learn another, actually 3 languages. And by the time I came here, I was speaking 4 languages. So it was very easy for me to find relatability in the other languages that I speak and Italian. I easily learned how to speak because Italian is very easy to read. If you are an English speaker, they use the the Latin alphabet. So the A, B, C, D, yes. So reading 100% immediately. Understanding, not really. Speaking took me the longest. Now, understanding was very interesting. I had this roommate who was Italian, and in exchange she wanted me to teach her English and I wanted her to teach me Italian. This is the organization that I had with my accommodation. And when I came, she had written me the first 100 words in Italian that I need, and 5 of them were curse words. So I learned how to curse on the first day. Okay, she was like, if somebody disturbs you, you say this. It was a curse word. If you ask for directions and somebody doesn't help, you say this. If you need help and somebody doesn't help you, you say it. So I didn't know the meanings of these words, but I don't know why I didn't Google them, especially the 5 curse words. So one day I was frustrated and I said one of the curse words, and people looked at me like, oh my gosh. I was like, what does this mean? So I Googled it and it was a curse word. So I went home and Googled all the words and then translated them into English so that I make sense of them before using them. So that's how I learned my first 100 words. Then I went from words to building sentences to building meaningful sentences, because there's building sentences and then building meaningful sentences. And that's how I learned Italian. It took me a while. To understand. I would say 6 months. Yeah, my first 6 months. I arrived here in November and I could not understand that much. In the first 3 months, not really. 6 months, yes, I could understand almost everything. like I said, it's different for everyone. I'm very easy with languages and I'm very open to learning new languages. I'm a curious person, so yes, that makes me learn easily because I want to know what people are saying and people are doing, and I want to be able to read and understand. So yes, it was very easy on my part for the language. Speaking was when I first got my job in 2015. Yes, I arrived in November 2013 and got my first job in May. Started my first job in May 2015. It was an internship, but I called it a job because I mean it's impacted so many other relationships and other jobs that I've gotten to date. So yes, speaking Italian, I would say then speaking like properly conversations. Yeah, basically. I don't know if I've said if the time frames are right, but yeah, I think yeah. Speaking properly, yes, but the ciao and grazie, that was immediate. As soon as my roommate handed me the list to let me know if somebody says ciao, you say ciao. If somebody says this, you say this. If somebody says that, you say that. It was very instant. I crammed them for about a week and it was very easy. So I have a video about how I learned Italian in, I think, I can't remember, but it's on my channel. Go check it out and see how you can learn Italian quickly. I think it was a month that I started to be able to respond, but with just a word or 2 words of 3-word phrases. Yeah, but speaking properly, expressing myself, having an argument, like being able to think and talk at the same time, that was a lot later, like a year and a half. So yes. The final question. Question number 17, which is the final question, is concerning jobs. Which job is your favorite? And I think this is very personal and I choose not to answer it. Somebody's asking about all the jobs that I've done and which one is my favorite. I would say my favorite is my business, which is my bags business and my fashion blog. The other jobs, let's leave that conversation for another day, maybe when I feel more comfortable to talk about that. I'm here to promote my business and not somebody else's business, okay? So yes, it was a lovely live. Thank you to everybody that attended. I'm not able to see the questions. This is my first time going live on YouTube, so I do not know how it works. So if there are any questions in the question box, I'm going to be very happy to answer them in the comments below. I hope I don't miss them. Let's see, I see this little thing here. No, nobody. Okay. I don't know how this works, but I'm going to end the video here. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit the red subscribe button down below. If you have further questions, in the comments. Do not email me, please, with questions because I'm going to ask you to write them in the comments box. This way, first of all, you help my videos get more engagement. And then if there are people that have got similar concerns, they easily find the solution, okay? The solution is not hidden somewhere in an inbox. Oh. Another question that's usually asked, and I'm tired of it, I want to answer it here, is what school did I do my Italian language lesson? Now, Italian language test required for my permanent permit. Now, if you're to get a permanent permit in Italy, you are required to show at least level A2 in Italian. I went to a school that was recommended by my boss, luckily at the time. I don't remember the name offhand, but I did comment on the video about learning Italian and my permanent residency with the name, and I pinned it. So check out those videos, and I'm going to comment down below and pin it at as well in this video. So go ahead, check them out. Just wanted to make sure that I put this out in this video so that people stop asking me. It's becoming a very frequently asked question, and I have answered it over and over. And yeah, I don't know what to say anymore. Thank you so much for being a part of this chat. I enjoyed it. Maybe I should do it more often, as I don't have to edit the video right after it's ready. How cool is that? I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much for being patient. I've been promising this live for some time. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, share, leave a comment down below. I'll see you in the next one.